Hello everyone and welcome back to Learn to Learn. I have a new video, a very interesting video today about 5 languages: French, Spanish, German, Russian and Portuguese. We're gonna see for each one of them the pros and the cons. So let's go. So let's start with French. French is a language I know quite well because I teach it and it's also my mother tongue. So as you can see here, a couple of figures. It's a language spoken by 250 million persons in the world, in 29 countries, in 5 continents. Let's start immediately with the pros. French is a diplomatic language, official language of the European Union, NATO, UNESCO, etc., etc. French, you might find it easy to learn because it shares a large vocabulary with English. So if you're a native English speaker or you know English very well, you might find a lot of words in common. So your vocabulary can be quite strong at the beginning. It's a widely spoken language. It's spoken in 5 continents: in Europe, in Africa, in North America, in South America, and in Oceania as well. It's a growing language because in Africa the population is growing, and in 2050, according to an article from Forbes, French could be one of the largest and widely spoken language in the world. So it could be interesting to learn French for the future as well. The cons of French, and we have a lot of cons, of course. The pronunciation might be hard because you see a lot of letters, but you don't read them. Yay! Elisions, for example, you have 2 words, ils, ont, and you have to read ils ont or les enfants. You have to know that, you have to learn the rules. It's extremely important, especially if you want to have a proper pronunciation in a language. We have vowel nasal, like un, on, un, very characteristic French language. You have to learn also about making these sounds, especially if you're not familiar with. Like in Spanish, we have a lot of irregular verbs and a tough conjugation that we have to learn by heart. In French, I find it, even for French speakers, quite difficult sometimes, the difference between tu and vous, formal language versus informal. So for example, if you want to create a relationship, a good relationship with your boss, you want to say tu, but maybe your boss doesn't want you to say tu, and then it's a big problem, you know? So it can be many situations. You don't really know if you want to try to say tu or vous, and yeah, complicado. Word genders, we have masculine and feminine genders, but you know, it's like Spanish, and at least we don't have a neutral. The second language I would like to talk about is Spanish. Spanish is spoken by 450 million speakers in the world, in 22 countries and 3 continents. So let's take a look at the pros, and we have a lot of pros for learning Spanish. It's a very popular language, especially nowadays because it's growing in America, in Northern America. It's a language widely spoken almost entirely in the South America and in Spain and Europe. So that's a lot of people at the end. It's easy to learn, I would say, at the beginning until you reach a level A2 something-ish. And then we have a lot of problems, but we're gonna talk about it soon. The pronunciation is rather very simple, especially if you compare it to French or English, right? Let's talk about the cons of Spanish. We have a lot of tenses. You have 2 subjunctives. You have all the tenses of French and English together. So present perfect, preterite, and many others. Spanish people are very fast speakers in general, as you can see here.
Y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea.
You have, like in French, word genders, masculine or feminine, that you have to learn by heart, but they follow a certain pattern, which is quite helpful. And the language differs, I don't remember, a lot. For example, if you speak Spanish in Argentina or in Andalusia, it's completely different. And you will have to adapt yourself. Yeah, you will have to. So Spanish, of course, is a good bet if you want to try to learn a new language in 2021. The next language is German. German is spoken by around 100 million speakers in the world in 6 countries and 2 continents. So it looks like it's less speakers than French and Spanish. Yes, it is, as you can see. But we have, of course, very interesting pros for German, especially for business. Germany has a strong economy, as you know, it's the third most powerful economy in the world, if I remember well. It's very good for the business as well. You have employment and a lot of opportunities, especially for jobs. And if you want to study as well, because the German universities are free for foreigners, but you need to speak the language. I think if you want to access your German universities, you need a certain language, certain level in the language, maybe a B2. I don't remember. But it would make sense, I think. It's the most widely spoken language in Central Europe, yes, because you know Germany has itself 80 million speakers. So Germany would be very good. It's in Europe because on the market it's one of the most demanded language on the market. Yes. So if you speak German, you can find a job in Europe. It will help you at least to find one. Of course, we have quite a few cons for German. The declensions that I personally hate. I freaking hate it. I don't really even understand how it works, but I just don't want to know how it works. And it's super hard for no reasons. Maybe you can tell me, you can explain to me in the comments how it works. I would appreciate it because, well, yeah, never mind. Grammar and syntax of German is not the best as well. You have 3 word genders, so we were complaining about French or Spanish having masculine, feminine, and now we have neutral. Complicado. And German, yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's quite long. So to summarize about German, it's of course a very useful language to know if you want to work in Europe, if you want to make a difference in the job market, or if you want to study in one of the German universities. And now, fourth language today we'd like to speak about is Russian. Russian is spoken by 166 million persons in 12 countries in 2 continents, Europe and Asia. Russian is the most widely spoken language in Eastern Europe. It opens the door of the ex-USSR countries and cultures. So if you are interested with this mindset of the Soviet era, you might find interesting to learn Russian and its culture, if you like the Russian history as well. And of course, it's a very rich culture with nice literature and more. If you learn Russian, you can visit many countries from the ex-USSR, like such as Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia. Even if it's not anymore an official language in those countries, most of the people speak Russian there or understand it as well. The cons of Russian, also I'm not really a specialist of Russian, but I did some research, and I know quite a little thing about it. I have some friends learning Russian. Of course, the Cyrillic alphabet is very different. So if you have the Latin alphabet, it can be quite different. So of course, we would have to put an effort to learn this alphabet. But you know, Russian speakers are learning also Spanish, French, or English. So why not us? Grammar and syntax, I heard, is extremely complicated. So if you speak Russian, you can testify in the comments of this video and tell us more. The declensions, or even more than German, multiplied by 6. So you have 6 types of declension. Oof, God. How does this work? And pronunciation, of course, is quite different if you are a speaker if you are a native from English speaker, or Spanish speaker, French speaker, or from any other language, the pronunciation might be hectic. So Russian is, of course, a very interesting language to know if you want to know more about the Soviet era and the culture of Russia nowadays. Last but not least, Portuguese. Portuguese from Portugal or from Brazil? Well, I had to make a choice in my beautiful PowerPoint presentation, so I chose Brazil. Sorry about that. I know some people might be pissed, but what can I do? I had to make a choice. So 228 million speakers in 10 countries in the world, in 4 continents. That's a lot of speakers actually for Portuguese. I was surprised to find that so many people speak Portuguese. It's easy to learn if you know Spanish. Actually, I know Spanish quite well, and when I can see a text in Portuguese, for me it's quite easy to understand the language. And I think if I would study for a couple of months, I would master Portuguese because I know Spanish. So if you know Spanish, you can consider you already know Portuguese somehow, in a way. Of course, the pros of learning Portuguese is to know more about the Brazilian culture and the Portuguese culture. We don't forget anyone. It's a 5th language of the internet. Another thing I didn't know about Portuguese, but if you want to find more resources in Portuguese, it might be good to know the language. The cons, it's extremely confusing with Spanish. Actually, many words are similar, but sometimes have different meanings, sometimes are not spelled the same way, and can be confusing with Spanish. The pros is also a cons. We have many tenses in Portuguese, like in Spanish, and I heard it's even more complicated. If you know about it, comment in this video. I want to know more about the tenses in Portuguese. Pronunciation, like in French, they have nasal vowels, this kind of stuff, you know, and it can be a bit hectic. For French speakers, I think it shouldn't be difficult, but for the others, can be. So Portuguese is a language you should consider if you want to know more about Brazil and Portugal and want to learn a kind of easy language if you know Spanish. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned a little bit more about French, Spanish, Russian, German and Portuguese. I hope it was useful for you. Let me know in the comments down below what language you would like to study in 2021 or what language you would like to know more in this year. For me, for example, I would like to learn still Swedish, a little bit of Polish, and maybe to start Portuguese. So what about you guys? Let me know. I'm very curious about it. Have a nice day or night. I don't know when you're watching this video anyway. Ciao.